Yo, what's good, sports bettors? In this video, we're going to be talking about how to use the OddsJam Positive EV Tool, right? So positive EV, it may be confusing at first. What does this word mean? But all positive EV means is profitable, right? So there are a lot of different terms for profitable bets, bets with an edge. And all positive EV means is positive expected value, right? So your bet has a mathematical profit margin over the sportsbook, which we'll talk about here in a bit. But I mean, kind of the simplest way to think about it is imagine you had a coin, right? Let's say you have a coin, but this coin isn't a fair coin. It's not 50% to land on heads, 50% tails. This coin is weighted. It's 53% to land on heads, 53% heads, so 47% tails, right? So let's say, it's me and you, and I say, we'll flip this coin for $100. If I win, I get $100. If you win, you get $100. What side do you want? You're going to pick heads, right? You're going to pick heads because heads is 53% to occur. That would be a positive expected value bet, right? And sure, the coin is still 47% to show up on tails. 47% of the time, you're going to owe me $100. But I mean, if we flip this coin a million times, just due to the law of large numbers, due to statistics, having a lot of bets, you would make money off me, right? You would make money off me because this coin is 53% to land on heads and I'm giving you $100 if it lands on heads, and you're giving me $100 if it lands on tails. So that's basically the concept of positive EV betting. So you're not going to win every single bet. You're not going to even win every single day. But over the course of a month, a year, you're guaranteed to make money if you're placing a lot of wagers, right? So volume matters. You got to be placing a lot of bets. If you just hit one positive EV bet and it loses, I mean, you've proven nothing, right? It's like flipping a coin that's 53% to land on heads and it shows up tails. It's still weighted in favor of heads. And if we flip that coin 1,000 more times, you should be picking heads as well, right? So this is just math. So anyways, let's switch over to the tool and let's kind of get into how I use the OddsJam Positive Expected Value tool. And as always, any questions you have, I'll leave my email, kind of in the description on YouTube, and you can always reach out to me. So I know it sounds oddly simple, but all the Positive EV tool is doing is scanning the market, looking for coins weighted in your favor, right? Looking for bets that are weighted in your favor. So we can go ahead and we can get into an example. And you can see in Xavier, Texas tonight, we have a college basketball play on Dylan Dessou, right? Over 7.5 rebounds at plus 134 on FanDuel. So why is this play profitable? And the reason is we're getting such good odds on FanDuel. We're getting enough value to beat the vig, beat the juice. And the reason it's so easy to find value as a sports bettor is all of these books, right? They set lines independently. So what you're going to notice is there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sports books setting lines on Dylan Dessou over 7.5 rebounds. So this OddsJam column, we actually just copy the odds from Pinnacle. Honestly, not even worth talking about that much. We started doing this like a year and a half ago and it's just kind of stuck. But what you're going to notice is FanDuel is a massive pricing discrepancy, right? You can see right here, most sportsbooks, if you look at the other 4 sportsbooks, they're around plus 110, right? And we're getting plus 134 on FanDuel. So we're getting 24 cents of improvement from the average of the 4 other sportsbooks that are posting odds on Dylan Dessou over 7.5 rebounds. So we found an edge, right? So essentially all OddsJam is doing is it's taking the emotions out of sports betting, right? It's taking the gut. You're betting with your gut. It's taking emotions out of sports betting. FanDuel, for example, probably has, if you look through their platform, 50,000, maybe even more odds on their platform at any given time. This is just for player points in one NBA game, right? They have all these player props. They have first quarter, fourth quarter, all these different markets you can bet on. So OddsJam, for literally, hundreds of sports books, almost 200 sports books, is pulling in the odds from all these sports books and just pointing out big pricing discrepancies. So here we can see the value is on FanDuel. That's the highest profit margin play. And the profit margin is right here, 5.35%. So again, this is all possible because books want to be unique, right? They all want to be unique, so they set lines independently. And as a sharp sports bettor, I'm not waking up in a given day and saying, oh, I want to bet on Dylan Dessou over 7.5 rebounds. That's not how sharp sports bettors think, right? The way a sharp sports bettor thinks is I'm going to look at the data in the market, and I'm going to look for value. I'm going to look for plays with an edge, and I'm going to follow the value. Sometimes the value may be in college basketball. Other times you can see there are some NBA plays next. Then there's some rugby league, right? Then there's more college basketball. Then there's some more college basketball. Tonight's main, then tennis. Then there's, soccer, English Premier League. So as a sharp bettor, you're just following the value, right? And there's nothing you can argue with here, right? It's very simple. It's very clear cut. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 sportsbooks posting these odds around plus 110. We're getting plus 134 on FanDuel. That's enough value, enough of an edge to beat the VIG, beat the juice, and have a positive profit margin, which is 5.35%. So the only settings I have set up typically is what we can do is we can unselect all sportsbooks. Is typically I just select the main sportsbooks I'm using. So currently, I'm spending most of my time in New York. I'm using DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars, Prize Picks, No House Advantage, Underdog Fantasy, WinBet, and then Bovada. So I'll go ahead and I'll just select all these books. So that's all I'm doing is I'm selecting the books I use, and then almost always I'll set max odds to plus 190, right? Sometimes if it's a bit slower of a day, I'll increase this number from plus 190 to maybe plus 250. But long story short, these are the only two settings I have on the page. And then I just bet the highest profit margin plays first and just go down the list, right? So here we can see, wow, Klay Thompson over 3.5 made threes. We can get plus money, plus 100 on DraftKings. Bet Online, a very sharp offshore sportsbook, has this at minus 149 odds. Pinnacle, one of the sharpest bookmakers in the world, they have the over favored for Klay. PointsBet has the over favored for Klay. So we're following all the data, and you can see most sportsbooks, FanDuel, Caesars, almost every sportsbook has Klay's over 3.5 made threes, right? Lines are juiced towards the over on FanDuel. They're giving you worse odds on the over. So the over is more likely to occur according to FanDuel's model, right? The over is favored. The over is the more likely outcome. So as a sharp sports bettor, all I'm doing is I'm literally just hitting this bet in bold, also highlighted in green, and then I'm just kind of going down the list, right? And again, the market's dynamic. It's always moving. You'll notice that as well. These great lines, they won't last forever, so you got to move quick. You're kind of like a day trader, right? So the reason we have other filters on OddsJam is mainly just because people asked for them, right? Some people will be like, oh, I don't want to play, positive EV plays below 1%, which is like, okay, that kind of makes sense. You want a 1% profit margin on all your plays. So you set that to 1%. Some people don't want to bet on, games too far away. So you can add all sorts of other filters. Some people add league filters or sport filters. For me, I want all profitable bets. If there's a profitable bet on soccer, I'll hit it. If there's a profitable bet on tennis, I'll hit it. If there's a profitable bet on hockey, I'll hit it, right? Wherever there's value is where I'm going to be betting. So currently, now, after the updated settings, the most profitable play is Niang over 1.5 made threes on Underdog Fantasy at minus 122. So this brings me to my next point, right? Like, you want more sports books. More sports books is better. I've used over 40 sports books since I started sports betting pretty seriously. And more sports books means more profitable betting opportunities. The top plays on Underdog, then the next best play is on FanDuel, then Prize Picks. So the more sports books you have, the more profitable betting opportunities will be available to you. But long story short, that's basically how I use the EV tool. I just select the books I use. I set max odds to plus 190. And then quite simply, I'm just hitting the bet in bold. That's highlighted, in green. And I'm finding value in the market, and I'm dealing with variance. I know there's going to be ups and downs, but that's how I use the OddsJam Positive EV tool. Again, I'll leave my email in the description if you have any questions, but I just go down the list, right? I start with the highest profit margin plays. I'm typically not ever sorting by date, so you can sort by date, by all these different things, but typically I'm just playing the top profit margin plays and going down the list, right? Going in order. So hopefully this video was helpful, and let's make some money, guys.